built for freedom. How to Craft a Business Around Your Dream Life, written by Ronnie Rowland. Published by Growth Literacy Lounge. There's an invisible trap no one warns entrepreneurs about. It's not failure. It's success, built the wrong way. You see it everywhere. The entrepreneurs who hustle, grind, and scale. They wear their all-nighters like medals. Their revenue climbs, their calendars overflow, and their inboxes pulse like unruly beasts. From the outside, they look unstoppable. From the inside, they feel like prisoners of their own creation. And it doesn't happen because they're doing business badly. It happens because they're asking the wrong question. Most start with, how do I make more money? But money's a slippery motivator. The more you make, the more you crave, the more you give up to chase it. You get pulled into the black hole of busyness, assuming freedom will greet you on the other side. But freedom never arrives by accident. It arrives by design. That's the work of this book. It's not about hustling harder, scaling faster, or forcing your way to 6- or 7-figure milestones. It's about flipping the script, starting with the life you want and reverse engineering the business that supports it. In the words of Brendan Burchard, no matter how small you start something that matters. And what matters isn't just the size of your business, it's the quality of your life. It's how your business fuels your joy, your health, your relationships, your creativity. Otherwise, what's the point? This book is a rebellion against the business-first model that keeps entrepreneurs trapped in prettier prisons. It's a guide for designing a business that protects your freedom, not steals it. You'll learn how to define your dream life unapologetically, choose offers that respect your boundaries, and build systems that uphold your values, not someone else's. Because you didn't start this journey to build another job. You started to build a life. Let's make sure your business remembers that. Chapter 1. The Business Backward Trap. Ethan had done everything the business books told him. He built his consultancy firm from scratch, chased every opportunity, landed high-ticket clients, and grew his revenue to levels that would make his former self giddy. On paper, he was the textbook success story. But Ethan's reality felt like a silent defeat. His calendar bulged with back-to-back Zoom calls, weekends blurred into workdays, and family vacations had turned into stolen moments between client emergencies. He had built the business of his dreams and hated waking up to it. Ethan isn't alone. Entrepreneurs around the world unknowingly walk the same path. They start with the best intentions, freedom, autonomy, passion. But somewhere along the way, they lose sight of why they started. The business becomes a beast that demands feeding, always hungry for more clients, more services, more hours. They trade the comfort of a 9-to-5 job for the chaos of a 24/7 hustle. And the worst part? Many convince themselves this is just the price of success. But what if the entire approach is backward? Most entrepreneurs start by asking, how do I make more money? It seems logical. Business exists to create profit, right? Yet this question is the root of the trap. When money becomes the North Star, the business grows to serve the profit, not the person behind it. The entrepreneur becomes an employee to their own creation. There's a better way. It begins by flipping the question. Instead of obsessing over revenue, start by asking, what does my ideal life look like? Imagine the texture of your days. What time do you wake up? Where are you working from? Who are you spending your time with? How much creative space do you have? When you start with life first, the business becomes the vehicle, not the destination. Think of it like building a house. Would you start pouring concrete and framing walls before deciding how many bedrooms you want, or where the windows should face? Of course not. Yet most entrepreneurs do exactly that. They build the business first, then try to squeeze life into the cracks left over. It's like trying to fit a family of 5 into a 1-bedroom apartment. Chaos, frustration, and sacrifice are inevitable. This isn't about working less just for the sake of it. It's about working intentionally. Some entrepreneurs crave location independence, others desire spaciousness in their calendar, and some prioritize creative control. Freedom is personal. But unless it's defined, the business will default to the path of least resistance, which almost always means more work, more hustle, and less joy. There's a simple truth lurking beneath all of this. If you don't deliberately design your business to support your dream life, it will accidentally destroy it. Ethan learned this the hard way. But you don't have to. In the pages ahead, you'll discover how to design your dream life first, then reverse engineer the business model that protects and nourishes it. You'll explore how to set boundaries, build systems, and create rituals that keep freedom at the core, not as an afterthought. You'll learn how to audit and adjust relentlessly, so your business never drifts back into the trap Ethan found himself in. You started a business for freedom, not to build a prettier prison. Let's tear down the bars, flip the script, and start building from life first, not business first. Next, we'll dive into defining what freedom actually looks like, for you. Chapter 2. Freedom isn't universal. Define yours. What does freedom look like? For some, it's sipping espresso in a bustling cafe in Rome while answering client emails. For others, it's logging off at 2 p.m. to coach their kids' soccer team. Then there are those who crave deep, uninterrupted work from a cozy home office with no clients at all. The problem is, most people chase a version of freedom that doesn't belong to them. They inherit someone else's vision, usually painted in Instagram-filtered perfection, and feel like failures when it doesn't feel fulfilling. This is the silent trap of vague freedom goals. I want more time. I want to travel. I want balance. These are slippery promises because they lack specificity, and when goals are vague, they're impossible to hit. It's like telling your GPS, "Take me somewhere nice." You'll end up anywhere, but where you truly want to be. Consider Maya. She built an e-commerce brand that allowed her to work from anywhere. From the outside, she embodied freedom: laptop on a beach, passport filled with stamps, pictures of sunsets flooding her social feeds. Yet, deep down, she felt hollow. Turns out, she didn't actually enjoy traveling that much. She missed community, routine, and home-cooked meals. Her version of freedom was stability and spaciousness, not endless wanderlust. But because she never defined it, she spent years chasing someone else's dream. Freedom isn't universal, it's intensely personal, and the only person qualified to define it is you. The first critical step in building a life-first business is to get unapologetically clear on what freedom looks like for you. Not what sounds impressive. Not what influencers flaunt, not what your peers are doing. Your freedom is your own, and it deserves to be designed on your terms. Start by closing your eyes and imagining your perfect ordinary day. Not a vacation day. Not a highlight reel, just a regular Tuesday. Where are you? Who are you with? What time do you start work, if at all? What does your calendar look like? What fills your energy, and what drains it? This exercise might feel awkward at first, especially if you've spent years running on autopilot. But clarity is your greatest weapon against building a life that suffocates you. Write it down. Make it vivid. Turn it into a living, breathing blueprint. Describe your days, weeks, and seasons. Get specific. Do you want summers off? Fridays free? Mornings for creative work and afternoons for play? Don't judge or filter. This is your chance to paint boldly. Once you have this picture, you'll notice something powerful. Decisions become easier. You can evaluate opportunities, clients, and offers against your vision. Does this help me build the life I described, or does it pull me away from it? Clarity acts as both compass and shield, protecting you from the shiny object syndrome that derails so many entrepreneurs. Remember, there is no right version of freedom. Some crave more, others less. Some want adventure, others peace. The danger lies in assuming freedom has a universal shape. It doesn't. And the sooner you define yours, the sooner you can stop chasing someone else's dream and start building your own. Maya eventually shut down her travel-heavy business and rebuilt around her true desires. She now runs a boutique agency from her hometown, works 4 days a week, and hosts monthly game nights with friends. She traded endless flights for deeper routes, and she's never felt freer. You can do the same. But it starts with ruthless clarity. In the next chapter, we'll shift gears and explore how to reverse engineer a business model that serves the life you've just designed. Chapter 3. Reverse engineer like an architect. Imagine an architect starting to build a house without a blueprint. They pour concrete, frame walls, and slap on a roof, only to realize they forgot to include windows. The kitchen is in the garage, and the entire structure leans slightly to the left. Ridiculous? Of course. Yet that's how most entrepreneurs build their businesses. They hustle to create offers, chase clients, and grind for revenue, never asking whether the foundation supports the life they truly want. The result is predictable: a lopsided business that feels unstable, exhausting, and suffocating. Entrepreneurs often blame themselves for feeling stuck, assuming they lack discipline, hustle, or grit. In truth, they simply skip the blueprint phase. Once you've defined what freedom looks like for you, down to the textures of your daily life, the next step is to reverse engineer your business model to support that life. This isn't theoretical, it's brutally practical, and it begins with ruthless honesty. Start by asking, what business models are fundamentally incompatible with the life I want? If you crave location independence, eliminate any model that requires in-person services. If you desire spaciousness in your calendar, high volume, low ticket offers might suffocate you. If you value deep, creative work, avoid models that demand constant social media engagement. It's not about what works for others, it's about what works for you. Take Liam, a talented copywriter who dreamed of long, uninterrupted creative mornings and afternoons spent hiking. His mistake? He built his business around hourly projects for dozens of clients, each expecting immediate responses and endless revisions. His inbox became his boss. When Liam finally confronted his dream life vision, he realized his model was the opposite of what he wanted. He pivoted to high-ticket retainer packages for a select few clients with clear project scopes and boundaries. By aligning his model to his life, he reclaimed his mornings and found himself on more trails than ever. Business models aren't sacred. They're tools. You get to choose one that fits your life like a well-tailored suit, not a one-size-fits-all uniform. But this requires courage. It means ignoring industry norms, guru advice, and sometimes walking away from revenue streams that don't serve your bigger vision. Once you've filtered incompatible models, explore the ones that naturally align. If your dream life includes frequent travel, digital products, memberships, or consulting might serve you better than location-dependent services. If you thrive in short, intense sprints, project-based work with clear start and end dates could protect your time. If you prefer working with a few premium clients, high-ticket offers or licensing models might suit you best. It's not enough to choose a model, though. You must also design offers, pricing, and client types that respect your boundaries. This is where many entrepreneurs compromise. They pick a scalable model but overload it with needy clients, underpriced services, or open-ended deliverables that bleed into their personal life. Clarity here is your shield. Define exactly what you offer, who you serve, and how they engage with you. Reverse engineering your business isn't a one-time exercise. It's an ongoing commitment to evaluating whether your model still aligns with your life. Markets change. You change. And that's okay. The key is staying awake at the wheel, making conscious adjustments instead of letting the business drift into chaos. Liam's story isn't unique. It's a reminder that the business you build can either be a bridge to your dream life or a barrier keeping you from it. The difference is whether you start with the blueprint or start pouring concrete in the dark. In the next chapter, we'll explore how to build rock-solid boundaries that ensure your business model doesn't accidentally steal back the freedom you've designed. Chapter 4. Guardrails, Boundaries, and Non-Negotiables. Ben thought he was being generous. He answered client texts on weekends, squeezed in last-minute projects, and bent over backward to accommodate every demand. His logic was simple: the more available he was, the more clients would love him. But love turned to expectation, and expectation turned to entitlement. Before he knew it, Ben's business wasn't his, it belonged to his clients. They dictated his hours, his energy, even his weekends. His dream of freedom was buried under a pile of urgent emails stamped ASAP. This isn't an uncommon story. Entrepreneurs often think setting boundaries will scare clients away, but the opposite is true. Boundaries don't repel good clients, they attract them. The right clients respect your structure, the wrong ones run for the hills, and honestly, that's a blessing. Boundaries aren't something you bolt onto your business after the chaos begins. They're baked into the business model from day one. Think of them as guardrails on a mountain road. They don't limit your journey, they prevent you from driving off a cliff. Without them, your business will veer into every pothole of overwork, burnout, and resentment. Start by defining your non-negotiables. What are the hard lines you won't cross, no matter how tempting the project or client? Maybe it's no weekend work. Maybe it's limiting calls to certain days. Maybe it's requiring all communication inside one platform to avoid the trap of being available everywhere, all the time. Clarity here isn't restrictive, it's liberating. Next, bake these boundaries into your client onboarding process. Don't hide them in the fine print. Announce them proudly. When a client signs on, set expectations early and often. Communicate how you work, when you're available, and what they can expect from you, and what you expect from them. This isn't about being rigid or unkind. It's about protecting the very thing your clients are paying for, your best work. Ben finally learned this lesson the hard way. He rewrote his onboarding emails to include a welcome video, where he explained his working hours, response times, and project scopes. He was nervous at first, fearing clients would bristle. Instead, they thanked him. The structure made them feel cared for. It set the tone for a professional, respectful relationship from the start. But boundaries aren't just about clients. They also apply to yourself. Entrepreneurs are notorious for breaking their own rules, telling themselves just this once. But just this once becomes always faster than you think. Protecting your freedom means honoring your non-negotiables, even when no one's watching, especially then. Technology can help. Use calendar tools to block off sacred times, whether that's for deep work, family dinners, or Tuesday afternoon hikes. Set up autoresponders that reinforce your working hours. Create workflows that keep projects within the scope you agreed upon. Systems aren't cold, they're compassionate. They protect you from your worst impulses to overdeliver, overcommit, and overwork. And here's the truth most entrepreneurs don't want to admit. The people pleaser inside you will always try to leak through the cracks. That's why boundaries can't be theoretical. They must be visible, reinforced, and revisited regularly. Ben's business didn't collapse when he set his guardrails. It flourished. His clients knew exactly what to expect, and he regained control of his time and energy. He didn't lose clients, he lost chaos. Boundaries aren't barriers. They're bridges to the business and life you actually want. In the next chapter, we'll build on these foundations by exploring the unsung hero of freedom, systems that work quietly behind the scenes to uphold your non-negotiables, and even on your busiest days. Chapter 5. Systems, the silent soldiers of freedom. Freedom-loving entrepreneurs often recoil at the word systems. It sounds corporate, stiff, and suffocating, everything they escaped from in their old jobs. But here's the paradox: systems aren't the enemy of freedom. They're the protectors of it. Without systems, your business will pull you into the weeds, demanding your attention for every decision, every task, every client hiccup. You become the bottleneck, the firefighter, the unpaid intern who wears all the hats. It's chaos disguised as flexibility. Think of systems like loyal soldiers standing guard over your most precious resource, your time. They don't sleep, they don't forget, and they don't get tired. They execute tasks the same way, every time, so you don't have to. That's not cold, that's compassionate to yourself and your business. Ella, a graphic designer, learned this lesson the exhausting way. She prided herself on being hands-on, customizing every part of her client experience. From proposals to onboarding to invoicing, she personally crafted each email, created bespoke project plans, and scheduled every meeting manually. She believed this made her business feel boutique, but the reality was, it made her business feel heavy. She spent more time managing the process than doing the creative work she loved. When Ella finally embraced systems, everything changed. She created proposal templates. She set up automated onboarding sequences that delivered welcome packets and set expectations. She built project dashboards that clients could access without emailing her for updates. She even automated her invoicing and payment follow-ups. What she feared would make her business feel impersonal actually made it feel more professional, polished, and, most importantly, sustainable. Systems don't have to be fancy. Start simple. Document your most repeated tasks. Where are you repeating yourself? Where are things slipping through the cracks? If you answer the same client questions over and over, create an FAQ page or an onboarding guide. If you find yourself chasing invoices, set up auto reminders. If your calendar looks like a Tetris game, use booking software to control your availability and avoid back and forth email chaos. Delegation is another form of systemization. You don't have to do everything yourself. Whether it's hiring a virtual assistant for 5 hours a week or using a freelancer to handle specific tasks, outsourcing isn't a luxury, it's a strategy. It creates breathing room. It protects your creative energy for the work that lights you up, not the admin tasks that drain you. And remember, systems evolve. What works when you have 5 clients might buckle when you have 50. The key is to see your systems as living organisms that grow and adapt with your business. Check in on them regularly. Where are things getting clogged? Where are you still the bottleneck? Adjust, refine, and improve. There's an old saying, systems run the business, people run the systems. But in your case, the system should run silently in the background, freeing you to live the life you designed. They aren't cages, they're the invisible scaffolding holding up your freedom castle. Ella now spends her days deep in creative work, not stuck in her inbox or chasing paperwork. Her clients still feel cared for, perhaps more than ever, because the experience is seamless, clear, and consistent. And she has the mental space to dream, create, and enjoy the freedom she once thought was only possible by sacrificing the business altogether. You don't have to choose between systems and freedom. The truth is, you can't have one without the other. In the next chapter, we'll take this even further and show you how to time block your calendar like your life depends on it, because it does. Chapter 7. Clients aren't the boss of you. Clients can be wonderful partners, collaborators, and champions, but left unchecked, they can also become accidental tyrants. It's not because they're bad people. It's because, in the absence of clear boundaries, expectations, and communication, clients will naturally fill the space you leave open. They'll email at odd hours, expect instant responses, and slowly start acting like they own your calendar. The danger isn't just overwork, it's the subtle erosion of your freedom, energy, and joy. Lena, a business coach, learned this the hard way. She prided herself on being responsive, always available, always going the extra mile. Her clients loved her, until they didn't. They grew to expect the 11 p.m. replies, the weekend check-ins, the emergency calls on holidays. And when she finally tried to pull back, they pushed harder, accusing her of being distant and unhelpful. She realized she had trained them to treat her this way. The boundaries she never set at the start became impossible to retrofit later. The truth is, clients don't make the rules, you do, and the earlier you set them, the smoother the relationship. This isn't about being rigid or adversarial. It's about setting the container where both you and the client can do your best work without resentment or burnout creeping in. Start by reframing how you see yourself in the relationship. You are not an employee, you are a guide, a partner, an expert. Guides don't let the traveler set the route, they lead with clarity, confidence, and care. When you own your role, you set the terms of engagement from the start. This begins with the onboarding process. Before a single project kicks off, outline exactly how you work, when you're available, and how clients can get the most out of working with you. Don't hide this in dense contracts no one reads. Put it in your welcome email, your kickoff call, your client handbook if you have one. Make it friendly, but firm. For example, to give you my best energy and thinking, I focus on deep work in the mornings and hold client calls in the afternoons, Monday through Thursday. Or, I respond to client messages within 24 business hours, ensuring you always get thoughtful replies, not rushed reactions. Next, create systems that reinforce these boundaries automatically. Use booking tools that reflect your real availability. Set autoresponders during off hours. Build clear scopes of work that prevent scope creep. The more you systemize your boundaries, the less you have to enforce them manually. And when clients inevitably test these boundaries, as some will, hold the line with kindness and confidence. You don't need to justify, apologize, or over-explain. A simple, as outlined in our agreement, I'm available for calls on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Let's schedule for then, is enough. Most clients will respect the container when you consistently reinforce it. Lena eventually rebuilt her client relationships from the ground up. She created an onboarding experience that walked clients through her working style, her office hours, and her expectations for their collaboration. She set up a client portal where all communication flowed through one channel. And she stuck to her boundaries, even when it felt uncomfortable. The result? Clients respected her more, not less. They knew what to expect, and they showed up accordingly. She regained control of her calendar, her energy, and most importantly, her joy in serving them. Clients aren't the enemy, but without clear enforced boundaries, they can become accidental invaders of your freedom. You get to decide the terms, you get to set the rules of engagement. And when you do, you create the space for the best possible client relationships, built on mutual respect, not martyrdom. In the next chapter, we'll explore how to build in a rhythm of auditing and adjusting to ensure your business stays aligned with your freedom, not slipping back into old patterns. Chapter 8. The Freedom Audit Ritual. Airline pilots don't check the gauges once and assume everything's fine for the rest of the flight. They scan, adjust, correct course, and stay vigilant until they land safely. Entrepreneurs, on the other hand, often fall into the trap of assuming that once their business is designed for freedom, it will stay that way forever. But just like planes, businesses drift. Without regular checks, it's easy to find yourself off course, back in the familiar patterns of hustle, overload, and accidental self-sabotage. The truth is, freedom isn't a one-time decision, it's a discipline. And that discipline lives inside the simple but powerful practice of the freedom audit. This isn't a complicated spreadsheet or a dry exercise in data crunching. It's a ritual, a reflection, a chance to pause and ask the most important question a life-first entrepreneur can ask: is my business still serving my life, or have I slipped back into old patterns? Daniel, an online educator, thought he had it all figured out. He had designed his offers for flexibility, systemized his client onboarding, and built clear boundaries. For a while, everything felt smooth. But slowly, without noticing, his calendar started filling up with extra coaching calls. His weekends became catch-up sessions. He hadn't made a conscious choice to work more. It just crept in, disguised as opportunity, disguised as growth. When he finally sat down to reflect, he realized he was right back where he started, trapped inside a business that owned him. That's the sneaky thing about drift. It doesn't announce itself. It shows up quietly, one compromise at a time. One exception here. One, I'll just take this client because it's a good opportunity there. Before you know it, the business you built to serve your life starts stealing from it. This is why the freedom audit becomes non-negotiable. Every 90 days, block a day, or even just a couple of hours, to step back and take stock. Ask yourself tough, honest questions. Am I living the life I designed? Are my working hours aligned with my dream schedule? Are my clients respecting the boundaries I set? Are my offers still aligned with the lifestyle I crave? Where am I feeling resentful, drained, or out of alignment? Use these audits not just to spot problems but to make bold adjustments. Sometimes, that means cutting offers that no longer fit. Sometimes, it means raising prices or changing client criteria. Sometimes, it means reblocking your calendar to protect sacred time that's been invaded by noise. These aren't failures, they're the maintenance work of a freedom-centered business. Daniel implemented a quarterly freedom audit and treated it like a sacred CEO date with himself. No clients, no team, just him, a notebook, and radical honesty. Each audit became a checkpoint to realign his business with his life, to celebrate what was working, and to ruthlessly eliminate what wasn't. Over time, his business stopped drifting because he stopped letting it. This ritual isn't about perfection. You will drift. Everyone does. The key is catching the drift before it becomes a crash landing. The freedom audit isn't just a safety net, it's an act of self-respect. It's how you honor the reason you started this business in the first place. Freedom doesn't protect itself. You protect it, and with vigilance, with reflection, with action. In the next chapter, we'll explore why even with the best systems and audits in place, true freedom still demands courage, the courage to make hard decisions, to have uncomfortable conversations, and stay true to your vision when everything around you tells you to play it safe. Chapter 9. Courage over comfort. Comfort is a sly thief. It whispers convincing lies like, "You've done enough, don't rock the boat, and maybe next quarter." Entrepreneurs often fall prey to these whispers, clinging to the safety of what's familiar, even when it's suffocating. The uncomfortable truth is that building and maintaining a freedom-first business requires uncomfortable choices. It demands courage over comfort, again and again. Anika, a successful marketing consultant, found herself staring at her calendar one Friday evening, feeling a knot in her stomach. Her revenue was steady, her clients were happy, but she wasn't. She knew her business model no longer fit her life. She craved more space, more creative autonomy, fewer clients, higher impact. But every time she thought about raising her prices, cutting clients, or changing her offer, fear gripped her throat. What if the clients left? What if the revenue dried up? What if she made the leap and landed flat on her face? These fears aren't unique to Anika, they're baked into the entrepreneurial experience. Because staying where you are, even if it's suffocating, feels safer than stepping into the unknown. But the irony is, the life-first business you crave is almost always sitting on the other side of a decision you've been avoiding. And that decision will rarely feel comfortable. Courage in this context doesn't mean recklessness. It means being honest about what's no longer working and having the guts to change it, even when the numbers look good on paper. It's firing the high-maintenance client who drains your energy, even if they pay well. It's shutting down an offer that's profitable but misaligned. It's saying no to projects that don't fit, even if they're easy money. The cost of avoiding these decisions is invisible at first. It shows up as chronic irritation, quiet resentment, a gnawing sense of misalignment that grows louder over time. It leaks into your creativity, your relationships, your health, and by the time it becomes unbearable, the fixes are much harder. Anika finally chose courage. She doubled her prices, halved her client roster, and restructured her offers to be project-based instead of retainer-based. It was terrifying. Some clients left, some questioned her decisions. But others stayed and respected her more for it. Within months, she found herself working fewer hours, with clients who valued her expertise, not her availability. The fear she had clung to gave way to a deeper sense of freedom and fulfillment. Courage over comfort isn't a one-time act, it's a muscle. The more you flex it, the stronger it gets. The entrepreneurs who build sustainable freedom-centered businesses aren't the ones who never feel fear. They're the ones who feel it and move forward anyway. They trust that alignment beats approval, that short-term discomfort births long-term joy. And yes, discomfort will show up at every stage, when you raise prices, when you say no, when you pivot. But so will relief, pride, and the sweet taste of breathing room. You'll look back at those decisions and wonder why you waited so long. The next time you feel the pull to play small, ask yourself, is this choice protecting my comfort or my freedom? Often, they're on opposite sides of the table. In the next chapter, we'll take this courage deeper by exploring the identity shift that cements you as a life-first entrepreneur, not just someone running a business, but someone building a legacy of alignment, spaciousness, and joy. Chapter 10. Becoming a life-first entrepreneur. There's a moment in every entrepreneur's journey when they realize they're no longer just running a business, they're becoming someone different. It's not about tactics or tools anymore. It's about identity. Shifting from a business-first operator to a life-first entrepreneur isn't just a strategy. It's a transformation in how you see yourself, how you make decisions, and how you show up in the world. Zara, a brand strategist, discovered this shift when she caught herself making decisions out of habit, not alignment. She'd spent years chasing growth, prestige, and validation. She'd built a recognizable brand, landed impressive clients, and stacked her calendar with opportunities that stroked her ego but suffocated her spirit. When she finally paused to ask, "Is this what I really want?" the answer hit her like a punch to the gut. She didn't just need a business pivot, she needed an identity upgrade. Life-first entrepreneurs don't make decisions based on industry trends, peer pressure, or fear of missing out. They make decisions based on their values, their vision, and their desired lifestyle. They see their business as a vehicle to serve that life, not the other way around, and they protect that identity fiercely, even when it feels countercultural. This shift starts internally. It's about letting go of old stories, the ones that say hustle equals worth, that busyness is a badge of honor, that more is always better. These stories die hard because they're baked into the entrepreneurial narrative, but freedom doesn't live in those stories. It lives in the quiet confidence of someone who knows what they want and isn't afraid to build it, even if it looks different from the highlight reels of others. Life-first entrepreneurs anchor themselves in clarity. They know what success looks like for them, not for their peers, not for their mentors, not for the algorithm. They measure success in spacious afternoons, creative flow, meaningful connections, and joyful mornings. Money matters, of course, but it's a servant, not a master. They adopt daily rituals that reinforce this identity. Morning check-ins that ask, "Is how I'm spending my time today aligned with the life I want?" Weekly planning sessions that start with life commitments first, business second. Monthly audits of energy, not just income. They become vigilant guardians of their time, attention, and energy, knowing these are their most precious assets. And they give themselves permission to change, or to evolve, to outgrow offers, models, clients, even entire industries. Life-first entrepreneurs don't cling to what no longer fits just because it once did. They embrace the discomfort of growth, trusting that alignment always leads to more sustainable joy. Zara rebuilt her business from this new identity. She cut offerings that drained her, shifted to creative consulting that lit her up, and designed her schedule around the rhythms of her life, not the demands of her inbox. She lost some followers, some status symbols, some shallow praise. But she gained peace, space, and the kind of success that feels good in her bones, not just on a spreadsheet. Becoming a life-first entrepreneur isn't a finish line you cross once. It's a way of being, a daily recommitment to alignment over approval, intention over impulse, courage over comfort. It's trusting that when you build from the inside out, everything else falls into place, not perfectly, but purposefully. In the next chapter, we'll explore how to scale your business without sacrificing the freedom and alignment you've worked so hard to create. Because growth doesn't have to mean hustle, and more doesn't have to mean misery. Chapter 11. Scaling without sacrifice. Bamboo spends years growing roots before it ever breaks the surface. But when it finally does, it shoots up almost overnight. The same is true for life-first businesses. They require deep, patient work beneath the surface, clarity, boundaries, systems, and identity shifts. But when the foundation is solid, growth can come quickly, and when it does, the temptation is to abandon everything you've built in the name of more. More clients, more revenue, more opportunities, and often, more chaos. Scaling doesn't have to mean sacrificing your freedom. But that's exactly what happens when entrepreneurs try to scale using the same models, habits, and mindsets they used to start the business. The systems that supported your dream life at 6 figures might buckle at 7. The team that served your boutique client base might crumble under the pressure of a broader market. Growth reveals cracks in the foundation, and if you're not careful, you'll find yourself right back where you started, overworked, overwhelmed, and wondering why success feels like a trap. Nina, a creative agency owner, faced this crossroads when her business started to scale rapidly. Her inbox exploded, her team grew overnight, and her calendar became a battlefield of back-to-back meetings. She realized she had built a business model designed for intimacy, but was now trying to pour hundreds of clients into a container meant for dozens. The result? Frustration for her, her team, and her clients. The first rule of scaling without sacrifice is to design for spaciousness, not volume. This means favoring business models that respect your time and energy. High-ticket, low-volume offers. Group programs that deliver impact without one-to-one drain. Digital products that serve hundreds without adding hours to your schedule. It's about intentionally choosing models that expand your income, not your stress. Second, scaling requires elevating your role. You can't be in every inbox, every meeting, every decision. You have to let go to grow. This means building a team, not of task takers, but of owners, people who can make decisions, solve problems, and carry the vision forward without your constant involvement. This isn't abdication. It's empowerment, and it's essential if you want to scale without becoming the bottleneck. Third, your systems must evolve with your business. What worked at one level will likely break at the next. Automations, workflows, and client experiences must be revisited, refined, and rebuilt to handle increased volume without compromising the quality and integrity of your brand. Scaling isn't just adding more, it's optimizing everything you do to support more without doing more yourself. Nina made these shifts and saw her business transform. She restructured her offers, elevated key team members into leadership roles, and rebuilt her systems from the ground up. She let go of clients who didn't fit the new model, even when it meant a short-term dip in revenue. The result? She reclaimed her time, her team thrived, and her business grew not just in size, but in sustainability and joy. The myth that growth has to mean hustle is deeply ingrained in entrepreneurial culture. But it's just that, a myth. Growth done right amplifies your freedom, not erodes it. It's about designing a business that grows around your life, not over it. And it's about recognizing that more isn't always better, better is better. Scaling without sacrifice is a choice. A series of deliberate, sometimes uncomfortable decisions to protect what matters most, even as the world tempts you with bigger, faster and louder. It's possible. It's powerful. And it's the only kind of growth worth pursuing. In the final chapter, we'll bring it all together by crafting your Life First Manifesto, a personal declaration that will anchor your business and life for the journey ahead. Chapter 12. The Life First Manifesto. For years, Jackson chased the same entrepreneurial dream everyone seemed to be chasing: the big numbers. The big launch. The endless hustle that promised, somewhere down the line, the elusive reward of freedom. But after hitting his revenue goals, he found himself staring at a version of success that felt hollow. The money was there. The recognition was there, but the life he wanted? Nowhere in sight. So, he did what most entrepreneurs never pause to do. He stopped. He asked the question most are too afraid to ask: what am I really building here? And more importantly, why? That question is the heartbeat of the Life First Manifesto. It's a declaration, a compass, a refusal to build a business that owns you. It's a commitment to flip the script, to build life first, business second. And it's not just a mindset shift, it's a way of operating daily. The manifesto isn't about perfection. It's about intentionality. It's about waking up each morning and choosing alignment over autopilot. It's about designing a business that fuels your life, not one that feeds on it. It's about protecting your time, your energy, your freedom, as fiercely as you protect your bottom line. At its core, the Life First Manifesto is a personal contract. It starts with clarity. What does your ideal life actually look like? Not the highlight reel, not the Instagram version, but the ordinary, beautiful details of your days, weeks, and years. Write it down. Describe it vividly. This becomes your North Star. Next, it's about building a business model that serves that vision. Offers, pricing, clients, systems, they all exist to protect and nourish the life you designed. Anything that conflicts with that vision gets ruthlessly reimagined or eliminated. No exceptions. It also means setting boundaries that guard your freedom, boundaries with clients, with your calendar, with yourself, and not just setting them, but honoring them, even when it's uncomfortable. Especially when it's uncomfortable. But perhaps most importantly, the Life First Manifesto is about committing to the discipline of auditing and adjusting. Drift is inevitable. Life shifts, markets change, desires evolve. The manifesto doesn't lock you into a static vision. It invites you to revisit, reflect, and realign regularly. Jackson crafted his own manifesto and posted it above his desk. It wasn't poetic or perfect. It was raw, honest, and his. It reminded him daily that his business existed to serve his life, not the other way around. It gave him the courage to say no, to pivot, to protect what mattered most. Over time, that manifesto became more than words on paper. It became the operating system for his business, his decisions, his life. You can do the same. You don't need permission. You don't need anyone's approval. You just need the willingness to choose yourself, your life, your joy over the empty promise of someday success. Write your manifesto. Post it where you can see it. Let it guide your decisions, your strategies, your daily rhythms. Let it remind you why you started this journey in the first place. Your business is the vehicle, not the destination. Your life is the masterpiece. Build accordingly. This is your invitation to stop waiting, to stop sacrificing today for a tomorrow that may never come, to stop building a business that fits the mold and start building one that fits your life. Choose life first. Always. Take care and be well.